Hello and welcome back if you're a returning viewer, or welcome if you're here for the first time watching. I am Selena here as Sunny Sage 11. Thank you so much for being here to watch my video, and if you feel called to, I definitely invite you to subscribe to the channel, to like this video, and to stay connected and help grow this YouTube community here. So if you've been seeing some of the previous videos, you may know that I'm doing a 30-day video challenge. So every day is a different video topic. Some ideas I have may be pre-planned. Some of them may kind of come to me as an inspiration. For today's video, this kind of came to me as I was out in Seoul taking care of some errands, and I was at a bagelry, which, side note, bagelries, bagel shops are like really trending right now in Korea, which no complaints from me because I have loved bagels since I was a little kid. I think the first bagel I tried was like a cinnamon raisin bagel, and I just been hooked since. So I love bagels, and I'm so glad that they are popular here. Like, this was not the kind of Korea that I lived in not even 4 years ago. So, you know, things are always changing. And so as I was sitting down, I just kind of got this note of inspiration, and I literally took the bag that they gave me, the bagel in, and I just had to write down like the thought that dropped into my head. And so this video is going to be a little bit more introspective. So I'm just kind of going to go into what I jotted down, which was when it comes to how we embrace change, and especially when it comes to the environments that we're in or the people that are around us. I think that there are moments where we want to wait for others or the environment to change first before we make a change. And so what I wrote down here was, you can change quicker than your environment can. We sometimes want to wait for others to change before we make our own changes. And so I think this came to me because I was conversing with someone from the States, and, you know, they're kind of going through some changes in their life. And, you know, I am fully, you know, keeping this person in my thoughts and prayers. And when I thought about the situation, I reflected upon that sometimes we may be wanting to wait for our external environment to get better, or I'm going to wait for this to change before I do something, when oftentimes we're given a lot of like nudges or signs when we choose to pay attention to them that are kind of maybe dropping hints that, hey, you can wait for this environment to change, you can wait for this person to change, you can wait for this job to change, you can wait for whatever fill in the blank to change. I come to the realization that we can oftentimes change a lot quicker than waiting for that external factor to change first. It's like we kind of render ourselves powerless when we're waiting for someone else to make a change before we make the change. And oftentimes I feel that if there's one thing that we can have the biggest, you know, influence over is ourselves, you know, more than our environment at times. I mean, we can, obviously we can influence our spaces, but when it comes to when we want to see something different, sometimes it may start with you making that first change within yourself, whether it's a spiritual change, a different thought pattern, deciding to move in a different direction. And so I think that when I was thinking of how I came to the decision to come back to Korea, and really, you know, it's been a ride the past decade of my life. It's been an extreme ride. And those years previously when I would go back to the US, because I would sort of feel that, well, maybe there's not much for me in Korea, but I would still feel this pull to come back to Korea. And I think that moments when I would want to stay in the US, it was like I was hoping like something would change in my family dynamic, or, you know, just thinking that others around me would be the first to change, and then that could probably support me wanting to potentially give the thought of living in the States, you know, a longer chance or opportunity. But as I was living there, and I realized not much is really changing. If anything, I kept noticing how much I was changing as I came back to the States after having lived abroad, and seeing how that span of time that I lived overseas, how much that had influenced and impacted me, which Actually, I had noticed that ever since the first time I went abroad, which was way back in college, and I studied abroad in Spain. And I can just say, I think my life has not been the same in a good way since that moment. I think that that was definitely the catalyst which set me on this trajectory to wanting to live abroad. I think making that decision at the age of 20 that I want to go to Spain, I want to go study abroad. And ever since that moment, like I remember hearing about reverse culture shock, like when you come back to, your home country, you may feel like you're missing where you came from. Like that place you left starts to feel more like home. It starts to feel more, I guess, supportive for you. It feels more in sync with you. And I think that Spain changed me so, so much at that age. And I just, you know, ever since that moment, I felt like I don't think I'll be living in the States a lot, or I want to explore what's outside of the country, especially as I got to experience how other environments can be, like to really experience like a lovely metropolitan city like Madrid, which was where I was. So kind of again circling back to the topic, which was you can change quicker than waiting for your environments to change. And so a question just to throw out is, have you found yourself ever waiting for someone else to change before you made a change, or an environment, a neighborhood, a job, whatever it is, it's different for all of us. And so I think that there are moments in life where we are placed in situations where we're given the choice of, are you going to wait for the person to change, or are you going to go ahead and do what you know is right for you? And then maybe the environment will catch up, maybe that person will catch up, but you can at least feel assured, and I guess you can feel a sense of more forward movement knowing that you did something, that you didn't wait, that you took the initiative for yourself. Because at the end of the day, it's about what is going to be best for your life and what you want to create in your life. No one knows what's always going on within your mind. No one really knows you the way you should know you. I mean, we should always be getting to know ourselves and getting to know who we are, what we want, what drives us, what's our motivation. And yeah, I was even, when I was looking back at what I wrote on the paper, the song by John Mayer, which was Waiting on the World to Change. If you are familiar with that song, that was a song that I thought of, because the chorus, is like, we keep on waiting, we're waiting on the world to change, we're waiting on the world to change. And, it's like we can wait on the world to change, but it's like we're just going to keep waiting. And that's actually what he says in the song. Like, we keep on waiting for the world to change. And it's like, you could replace that with waiting on the job to change, waiting on this to change. And so I have recently found myself in the position, as I'm growing and evolving, of finding ways to create an opportunity for myself. And especially being an immigrant here in Korea. And I don't call myself an expat. I said that in another video, I believe. That has to be the topic of a future video, why I prefer the term immigrant over expat. So I have to fit that in somewhere in this 30-day video challenge. But me being an immigrant here in Korea, realizing that I appreciate and am thankful for my day job, but also knowing that I need to be prepared for life after, teaching English, and creating opportunities that can inspire my future children, so that way they can see that, oh, if my mom did it, I can do it. Or, she took a chance and she bet on herself. I need to bet on myself. And I feel that's a value that I want to instill within my future children. I'm speaking to them. I'm speaking to their spirit, to their energy. I want to instill in them the importance of taking a chance on their dreams, on their visions, to believe in those dreams and visions, and not let anyone stamp on them or push them, to the ground, to always go after what they want. So I hope that you're going after what you want. I hope that you're continuing to bet on yourself. I hope that you're not waiting for others around you to change first. I didn't say this as well, but also this could be waiting for, friends to change. I say friends because I have been a firsthand witness of having changing friendships or dynamics that I thought served me that didn't, having to walk away from what were friendships at the time because they, served their purpose at that moment. But as I started to change, as I started to grow, I realized, are those friendships and connections going to support me with where I'm going? Or has this reached, its course? Has it reached, has it come full circle? And so I felt I needed to talk about this, and it came into my mind for a reason. And yeah, I even wrote another note on this little paper bag that could be another topic about sitting with silence, because when I was at the bagelry, I noticed in a lot of like Korean restaurants, cafes, like there is always music playing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing because I love music, but sometimes I wonder if it's like, can we kind of sit with the silence sometimes? Like I would love to just, while I'm in the cafe, just kind of hear the sounds coming from the street, like hear the bicycles, hear, the conversations, the laughter that's coming from the outside. And sometimes when we're just hearing, all this pop music, blasting into our ears, it's like we can kind of disconnect from what the moment is trying to teach us, what it's trying to give us, and just, not be in step or in touch or in tune with that. So that's a big thing in Korea. And actually there was a woman that I had a brief chat with. She had moved to Korea from France, and she was saying like, why is there always music playing in cafes? Like, why is it never just, just the sound of the conversations around us? Like, why does there always have to be music? So yeah, sitting with the silence. Like even when I'm at home, I will just like turn off like any type of music sometimes, just to kind of be with my thoughts, or just to feel the silence and see what wants to speak to me in that silence. Like what can we receive when we're in those silent moments? So yes, I will leave it at that. So a more introspective topic today. I hope you've had a chance to tune into the other videos that I have been posting, and I think I need to go ahead and make a playlist for this 30-day video challenge. And also in connection with like not waiting for things to change around me. I actually recently created a meetup group for women living internationally. Me being, a foreign immigrant woman living abroad, recognizing the value in really cultivating relationships with other women to really feel that sense of support, community, and sisterhood, and a space that feels safe, for us. Because there have been moments where, I'm not against it all, like co-ed, meetup groups. But sometimes as women, we just want to be in a space where we can just be ourselves and not worry about, getting a DM from a guy in the meetup group who wants to like, touch base with you or whatever. So I think that building this type of community for women who are living abroad, in countries that they are learning the language of, they've moved for different reasons, or maybe it's a temporary move. Maybe they're, living there for a few months, or they're traveling abroad, digital nomading. But overall, just having a space that women can connect in and just share our stories and our voices. So I've created the meetup group. It's called Women Abroad in Harmony, and I will put the link in the description. And I have the first virtual meetup planned for this upcoming Sunday, which is May the 18th. So I'm, this is me again betting on myself, just taking that first step, because I do feel like I'm meant to create some type of community while I'm living abroad. I feel like there's a bigger calling that I'm meant to be a part of and to create. And again, it's creating the opportunity for myself, and allowing this to be a positive example for my children when I have them, and to touch the lives of other women who are also navigating these international, immigrant waters. So I will leave it there. I really thank you for watching and tuning in. Again, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to connecting with you in future videos. So take care and have a wonderful, wonderful week. See you next time.